Lagos's Hot FM.
And lifestyle engagement with JIB. JIB Live on Hot 93.3.
Well, hello, it's JIB Live 93.3. How you doing? It's good to be here. This is it's a beautiful Wednesday. I always say the day is beautiful. Don't I? I always say the day is beautiful, well, because it's always good to start with positive energy, I guess. But we're not going to talk about something too positive today because of what the news that I heard about 5 Nigerians who stormed the exchange market in Dubai, smashed the glass barrier between customers and staff, and made away with money. 2.3 million dinars. That is 250 million naira in Dubai. Do you know how one peaceful, how well organized, how well structured Dubai is? For anybody to think of stealing in Dubai is the craziest thing. You know, it is such a well-programmed society, community, that place, that it's almost impossible for anyone to think about it. And I don't know, Nigerians, what are we doing to ourselves? We make our lives too difficult. You know, this is just getting to me so badly because, I mean, you know, it's just, what are we doing to ourselves? And right there on Twitter, somebody had to share a conversation he was having with, trying to process his visa to Dubai, which normally is a very easy process. Actually, they don't require the interviews and the whole submitting of your passport like most other countries. And he was told that they are not at the moment processing Nigerian visas. What are we doing to ourselves? How do you have 5 Nigerians go and rob in Dubai? All right, so I'm trying to bring up a conversation from that, and I'll throw up the question. I think the way we see money, we need to start to review the way we see money for the sake of our children, so that we don't get into a situation where we think by hook or crook, just make the money, because that's the kind of narrative we have these days, and it is just not right. So my question today is getting rich the chief factor in personal growth? Is getting rich the chief factor in your personal development? Let me know what you think. I have Bad Liar by Imagine Dragons.
Lagos's Hot FM.
What is trending? 5 Nigerians caught. They stormed the exchange market and stole 2.3 million dinars in Dubai. That is 250 million naira. And I am just thinking of the effects we would all have to suffer because of 5 people who are so stupid enough to think they can go to Dubai. A society so well structured to steal. And the thing about things like that is it doesn't matter the tribe. To the international audience, it doesn't matter the tribe. It doesn't matter. We are the ones here saying it is this tribe, it is that tribe. They don't care. All of us get to pay for the misdemeanor, for the crime of 5 people. We need to start having sincere conversation with ourselves where we place money in personal growth, where we place money in personal development. And that is why I'm asking the question today. Is getting rich the chief factor in your personal growth? I think the entire narrative has changed over the years. I didn't grow up thinking money was that important. I really didn't. It was more of values and fulfillment and the goals you need to pursue. What I grew up knowing for a fact is you have to make enough money to take care of yourself and whoever you bring into the world. That is what I grew up believing. That is what I grew up knowing. And I've always been taking care of myself. I've always been able to meet my bills. I take care of my children. I take care of everything that concerns us. But you now come to the new era and you realize that it's not enough anymore. People want you to buy yachts. They want you to buy G-Wagons. They want you to, and there's nothing wrong with that. But the pressure is is crazy, and people are doing all kinds of things to meet up. It's easier for me because I'm older, but I can just imagine what millennials are going. The narrative out there is so wrong. And I really need us to talk about it. How important is it getting rich? Now, I'm not saying having money to meet your needs. That is basic. Everybody should be able to have money to meet their needs. I'm talking about this idea of, just living in wealth, the way Instagram paints it. At least from this side of the world, where we always want to aspire to certain things that are not, number one, realistic, or not even because when you aspire to those things, you begin to believe that because you have them, any other person pursuing any other type of fulfillment isn't good enough. Let's have that conversation, because I think when 5 Nigerians go to Dubai to steal, I think it comes back to us and what we are preaching to ourselves, what our ethos are, what we live by, and why these things are happening. Because this is the most ridiculous thing to do, to go to a country like Dubai to steal. You will die. And you will be caught. Do you know how structured that community is? So let me know what you think. Is getting rich the chief factor in your personal growth? I would like to know what you think. WhatsApp me 0818-008-9933. And if you have any comments regarding the issue I am dealing with this morning, I would also like to know. So send me your WhatsApp messages, and also follow us on Instagram. It's hotfm_Lagos, on Twitter hotfm_Lagos, and you can follow me on Instagram at Joy Bewaji. I will be taking your messages next. First, I have music.
Lagos's Hot FM.
Okay, it's still GIB Live, and I am talking about getting rich. Is it the chief factor in your personal growth? Because I think we need to start to change the narrative on what money really is. What is money? What is your ambition when it comes to money? What plans do you have for it? How desperately do you need it? We need to start to change the narrative to make younger people, especially our children, understand that the way I grew up, like I said, it's so different now. All I know is when I was young, it was just never a money conversation, and I just know that as a human being, my job was to make sure that I meet all of my needs and all of the needs of the people I have to take care of. That's it. But these days, it's just so crazy, and there's nothing wrong with aspiring higher. But the truth is, people don't want to do they don't want to go through the right path to getting more. They're all looking for short routes. They're all looking for ways they can compromise to get money. That is the narrative we have, especially in a third world country where everybody is so desperate to get out of poverty. And then they do the craziest thing, like go to Dubai and rob the stock market. It's crazy. The exchange markets is crazy. I have a comment here from Bookie. Let me see. Bookie says, in a country with widespread poverty and unequal distribution of wealth, a chief indicator of personal growth is acquiring wealth. How else will others know the personal growth you have achieved without material wealth, that you're successful and have arrived? Exactly. She's right, and all of this is propelled by poverty. Now, I want to give an example of two people. So let's imagine there are two men, and one of them probably sold cocoyam when he was maybe 15, and then by 22, he's wealthy. But the other person was acquiring knowledge, was going to school, was getting degrees, was speaking in top places all over the country, was, represented representing Africa or Nigeria in different areas of the world, discovering different things to change the world, just getting into the academia and so many other things that require a lot of knowledge and a lot of interaction and a lot of communication to better the world. But that person doesn't own a G-Wagon. Now, in the eyes of Nigeria in 2019, they would say that the 15-year-old person who sold cocoyam in his teenage years and became wealthy is a better person than the person who spent a lot, that is spending so much time reading and communicating with the world and engaging the world on different platforms, because that person probably doesn't have the money to buy a big house. When I was young, no, it was never like that. We would never choose the person who sold cocoyam and became wealthy over the person who is literally learning through life. I just realized at this time in our life, the other person just doesn't count. We all focus on the person who sold cocoa, and there is nothing wrong with. But that's the problem. The issue is nothing is wrong with either of these people. Neither of them are living a bad life or an inferior life. But we just shove the other person to the side, and then we celebrate and idolize the other person. Not the process they took to getting money, but just the money itself. And that is the problem. That is the narrative we have, because nobody questions wealth anymore. So people just do whatever they do, and they just idolize money. And that is why they will go to Dubai to steal money and think they could actually walk away. It's crazy. I want to know your comments. It's 0818-008-9933. Send me your WhatsApp comments, and I will be reading all that you have to say regarding wealth and personal development. How important is getting rich? Is it the chief factor for you when you are developing yourself? Let me know. I have Who Do You Love by the Chainsmokers.
Lagos's Hot FM.
Lami says, it's not the chief factor, but it's a very important one. That's money. That's getting wealthy. Let's not kid ourselves. One cannot put in all that work without some sort of reward, and ultimately financial rewards and security. However, it should not be the only focus. Personal development involves learning, unlearning, relearning, evolving, growing, understanding of one's true self and purpose in this life and in this world. Thank you, Lami. I think I'll go with the whole unlearning. We need to unlearn a lot of things, and then we need to relearn, a lot of things. When we say things like, if you don't make money, what's we gain? I know it's just lyrics to a song, and it's just a catchphrase, and we could use it for different memes and have fun. But how does that influence the way we approach growth as a people and growth as individuals? How does narratives like that, how do they affect the way we see money and the place of money in our lives? We need to start having that conversation where we tell, the generation coming that money is great. Money is great, yeah? But you have to find what you can do to add value to society, especially when you are in a third world country. Personal growth is amazing, but what does it even matter when you are still going to be in a society where nothing works? So we need to start changing the narrative where we make people understand that money is great, having a yacht is great, going to vacation every other month is amazing, but how about adding value to the society you live in? How about improving other parts of you and not just the money part of you, to make you a full, your holistic knowledge, to make you a more holistic person that understands the place of money. Those two men, 5 of them who went robbing, they don't understand the place of money. It's a do or die affair to them, and it still comes back to their society. I still believe it comes back to Nigeria and what we tell people to do to make money. We hear of people eating poop. We hear of people stealing women's underwear. We hear all kinds of crazy things just because of money. We need to start to have that conversation about money and the place it should be when it comes to personal development. I have another comment here. Smart says, I don't think wealth should be the chief factor in personal growth, but money is. Exactly. I just said that, right? I don't think wealth should be the chief factor in personal growth, but money is. The kind of money that can suffice for all my needs and some wants. I should be comfortable. I can't claim to be growing when I have to run to people for my needs and wants too. I think knowledge is the chief factor. We'll talk more about that knowledge when we come back. Let's have this music by Fowls featuring Simi Soja.
Lagos's Hot FM.
We're talking about is getting rich the chief factor in personal development, and this was inspired by the robbery that took place in Dubai by 5 Nigerians. They're gonna die. I mean, there's just no way. If this is the most shocking news I could possibly get, what are you thinking? You think this is a movie? You think life is a movie? Anyway, so where do we place wealth, and how much power do we give wealth? And there's something my last commenter said, Smart Faith. She said, personal development is important to have money. But having money to take care of all of your needs is very different from being wealthy. What we have in Nigeria is a lot of people, the people who are wealthy, who have money, they don't even have an ambition for their wealth. So what they do is they just spend it on themselves, and there's just nothing wrong with that, see? But what kind of message are we putting out there for people to get when we glorify and idolize wealth that doesn't exactly contribute to the development of a society, and the pressure of getting that wealth that you don't even know what to do with the money when it comes? You don't really know what to do with the money. You don't know how many billion clothes you want to have. You don't know how many cars you want. You are just literally drunk with it. And then the narrative it passes to younger people is, money is just what it is. It's important. And these days you are even queried when you ask question, how did you make your money? That is why investigative journalism is dead in Nigeria. Nobody wants to know. Just get it. Just wake up the next day and launch a big house for your mother, another house for your sister, and just one big house for yourself. Nobody asks any questions. How do you make this money? How do you have this kind of job and live this kind of lifestyle? Nobody's asking questions. So these 5 men probably just thought, you know what? I could just get this money. We could just steal this money. Maybe they even did jazz, thinking that when they get there, they will not see them. All these things we do before we now go and steal. We've had these things in Nollywood. So maybe he just thought, okay, we are invisible right now. We're just going to go in there and come out because nobody's going to question us anyway. So we just go back to the village and just do anything we want to do. And everybody will carry the news and they'll be happy for us. And there's just no accountability, nothing. I have a message here on Faniyo on WhatsApp. She says, our culture today is obsessively focused on unrealistically positive expectations. Be rich, wear expensive things, roll with rich alone, look a certain high class way, and so on. It's endless. Hence the desperation and crave for money at all costs. Until we understand money does not bring fulfillment, one will literally die chasing it. Contentment is key. Money is not the chief factor. Satisfaction with what you have actually worked for is. The society is looking messy. We need to calm down and reevaluate what our purpose here on earth is. Then we would know money is never a chief factor. Bumi, I really feel like framing this comment right here. This is truth.
Lagos's Hot FM.
Lola here. Timlola says, good morning, GIB. Someone once said the Nigerian dream is I better pass my neighbor. Until we begin to reorientate ourselves that really there is no point to prove, we just need to live to our fullest potentials and positively contribute to humanity without going the wrong route. It's how I see the essence of personal growth. Thank you so much, Temilola. Live to your fullest potentials and positively contribute to humanity. At what point in that do we find wealth, stupendous wealth that makes us so drunk, so annoyingly rude that we begin to, and that's the thing again, because our lives are centered around social media. Everything we are these days is what somebody bought, what somebody wore, where they went to vacation, how their kids are looking, and all of this pressure that we put on ourselves. We need to, like Bumi said, we need to just relax. we need to relax and focus on what we are here for. What are you here for? What is your purpose for? What gives you fulfillment? And even if it's money, it's fine. But this idea of mocking people who don't have as much as you, it's so third world, It's such a poverty-ridden culture. So you have managed to be rich. Go and enjoy your wealth in peace. No. You will come on social media to taunt people, to shame people, to mock people. That's why we have people running out of this country, going to other countries that are so developed and so well structured to go and steal. Because it's not just making your money. I mean, hey, okay, so in the 80s, right, my father was really rich, but there was no social media, right? So if he's rich for himself and his family and in his pockets. Do you understand? And it's so crazy because he built this really, really big house on the ocean. In a society, is a larger society, everybody else was poor around there. And there was nobody stole from us. Nobody tried to break into the house. And the structure was magnificent. In the midst of, water now, Elijah people, water, And I just remember growing up there and nobody tried to steal anything. Because, you see, the walls was not right in their faces. There was no social media. We weren't mocking anybody. They were living their lives. They were fishermen. They were digging up sand. They were living their lives. We were living our lives. And there was just no need for comparison. And there was no need for all of the jealousy and anger and then the desperation. We weren't desperately trying to make people be like us. And it was peaceful then. And I mean, when you compare the 80s to the present Nigeria, you see the vast difference because we keep putting all of this pressure on people to make money. And I think it's wrong. And that is why a lot of young people are being misled to think that, money is all that matters. Or I don't care about degrees. Nobody even cares about school anymore. ASU goes on strike for 100 years and everybody just moves on. And all they care about is they are going to make some money. You can't even converse properly. You can't communicate well. You don't have any real drive. It's just money. How did we get to this point? I have Timaya next. Balance.
Lagos's Hot FM.
I have Olivia here. Olivia says, I've learned a lot from reading your posts, and I know that financial wealth isn't the chief factor of personal growth. It is a factor, but it isn't the chief factor. I don't even think there is a chief factor because when you evaluate and see that you've grown substantially in other areas that are important to you, it all adds up in the presentation of the big picture. Interesting. I'll just read that again. I don't even think there's a chief factor because when you evaluate and see that you've grown substantially in other areas that are important to you, it all adds up in the presentation of the big picture. Right now, achieving my health goals will be the chief determinant of my personal growth. Thank you, Olivia, for that comment. I have Uju. Uju says, hello, Joy. Wealth is good. It makes life easy. It solves a host of problems. But I think ultimately we all want our names written in gold. We want to be remembered for something long after we're gone. That is my chief motivator for personal growth. I want to leave a legacy behind. So I am motivated to do better, to be better, to excel. Love you, babe. Oh, love you too. Thank you. I have another message here from Eki. Eki says, getting rich, not wealthy, is a product of personal growth, in my opinion. Riches are just material, in my opinion. There are rich people who are still bereft of personal growth. Anyone who pays attention to their personal growth will end up wealthier than when they started out. Armed with a wealth of information, you can make more material wealth. If you don't pay attention to your personal growth, you end up stagnant, which in today's world will leave you poorer than when you started out due to the evolution of information and knowledge. Whatever one is doing, newer ways to do it, improve it, and packages are being churned out on the regular. Okay, so let me know what you think. Is getting rich the chief factor in personal growth? In your personal growth, let me know. It's 081.
Lagos's Hot FM.